So filter FM, or filter frequency modulation, is a somewhat exotic function, but it's a great effect if you can get your hands on it. Not every synth can perform it, and it may or may not be an obvious routing, so you'll need to have a look at your capabilities. So, when we looked at the Korg Monotron, we performed a sweep that took us up into FM range. In that case, we had applied the Monotron's LFO to the pitch, which created a buzzy, zipper-like sound. What would have happened if we'd applied it to cutoff instead? Filter FM is, again, a throwback to the modular days, when anything could be patched to anything, regardless of what might seem logical or obvious. When an LFO is applied to a filter, we get a controlled, sweepable motion, useful for wobbly basses, leads, effects, etc. When the rate of the LFO is increased to the point where it's more like an O and it loses the LF, it begins to impart a different characteristic into the filter's function. So let's have a look at a simple sawtooth patch in massive, with a low-pass filter rolled down to about halfway, and with a little bit of resonance. In this case, we're going to assign massive's modulation oscillator to filter 1's cutoff, and add some modulation. The modulator starts causing the cutoff to vibrate at a very fast rate, and it imparts some of the characteristics of the modulation oscillator onto the signal as it passes through the filter. This can yield some incredible results, and is most useful or pronounced when the modulating oscillator is at or above the frequency of the oscillators that form the signal flow going through the filter. In addition, boosting resonance will increase the audible nature of the effect. Too much can get chaotic, but I find there's often a sweet spot between 40 and 60% resonance. A little bit of distortion will help bring out the crunch, and we have ourselves a pretty cool sound already. By now, this should be piquing your interest in terms of sound design, with the cutoff, nature of the filter, and the source's oscillators and modulation oscillator all being highly modulatable. There's a ton of options to explore to help create cutting-edge sounds. Filter FM takes the properties of an oscillator and applies them to the cutoff value of the filter. The overall effect is that the filter imparts some of the qualities of that modulating oscillator onto the passing signal flow. Much like with LFO modulation, the pitch of the incoming signal stays unaffected, and only its timbre is affected, regardless of the pitch of the modulation oscillator, which gives us the ability to create a very wide range of wonky and cool sounds.